Fair tidings, Night Hunters. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to V Rising. Episode 2, Slaying the Heroes of Farbane Woods. So, for the spell point, we got something in the Chaos Magic. So, which spell should I unlock? We've got Chaos Volley. Launches 2 Chaos Bolts in a sequence that deals 115% magic damage and inflicts Ignite. We've got Aftershock. Aftershock is sort of the line ability that you saw him using. So it's a devastating line attack that can hit multiple targets. Chaos Volley really only hits the target it impacts. And then the last one is Power Surge, which is boosts a target ally or self applying a fading haste that increases movement speed by 15% and attack speed by 20%, and physical attacks inflict ignite damage for 4 seconds. I'll have you choose that while I travel to the next boss. So the next closest V-Blood is Rufus, but it's still pretty far away. And Grey Hermit, thank you for the resub.
I must make room if I want to carry that.
I'm also nearly out of room, so I'm going to drop some stone dust, pick up the copper ore, and maybe what I'll do is I'll make a trip back to my home so that I have more carry space for this stuff. So I'm going to drop the bandit bag.
My bags are filled.
And drop the reinforced weapons that I'm not using. The minor mace, actually, I'll hold on to. And let's travel back home to empty our pockets. If you're looking to farm copper, obviously this is the place to do it. This place has loads of copper nodes. And it looks to me like you guys are leaning towards Power Surge, but I'll leave that to be voted on for the remainder of the time. Does the map remember resources? Yes. If you mouse over, like, the Bandit Copper Mine, you can see that it is, it's got copper in it. So you don't actually need to make a mental note or anything like that. Is there fast travel? Yes. I've already unlocked, multiple waypoints, waygates. Alright, for now, I'm probably just going to settle on... Well, actually, we have well, no, I don't have copper ingots yet. So I'm just going to make some cheap and quick small chests. And then, we'll get to improving the base sometime later on. Just trying to make room. How very can you build your character playthrough to playthrough? Eventually you kind of unlock everything. But you can definitely focus on like specific weapons, magic or melee, etc, etc. Okay, we've unlocked Power Surge and I'm going to put it, you can put it in either of your slots, which is your R and C. And I will put it in my C slot. Alright, taking a look at the V-Blood menu. The foreman that I want is far away to the southeast. So let's go ahead and teleport to the southeast gate to see how close we get. Also, these enemies here are militia. They're way more dangerous than the enemies I've faced so far. So you need to make sure not to let them shoot me with their flaming arrows, as fire... The vampire is quite weak to fire, and that would hurt quite a lot. Alright, so he is somewhere into the northwest. So this teleporter overshot the direction, but that's fine. And I also loaded more blood into our castle so that the warning about the castle being low on blood has gone away. Now one could make, and of course I've played this before, one could make an educated guess that, oh, you know what? I want your blood. You webbed me. No! I'm gonna let its little minions attack me as I'm eating it. Now I have creature blood 47.
Blood sustains me.
So let's go ahead and use the vermin salve, which is the consumable. And as you can see, now that I'm out of combat, it's able to heal me up rather than using my blood pool. So vermin salves are really handy to use out of combat. They're less useful in combat because it won't heal you beyond your like injury max, and also trying to use a vermin salve takes a minute or so. So there's a lag time, and it can be tricky to get breathing room from an enemy in order to use it in time. And I like to just mouse over some of the NPCs that I find as I'm traveling around to see what their blood levels are. And if they're high enough, make a pit stop. Alright. The directional arrow leads me in. Ooh, this guy has 100% warrior blood. That is something most coveted. I'm going to try to leave the 100% blood guy to be dealt with last. Which is a little tricky because he has a friend here who doesn't want to... Oh, there we go. Just so they don't kill him, I'm going to use my bare hands to weaken him a little bit. Because a strike from my mace might have killed him. And now we have 100% blood. Which is crazy good. So, we have every possible bonus. And that's going to make Rufus here an absolute pushover. So let's go push him over.
An intruder, huh? Guess I have to handle this myself. Start running. Think you're quick on your feet?
Ow! I didn't see him cast that.
I'm gonna call you target practice. I'll end this quick. Start running. Yeah.
Not much of a fight.
Live by the sword. Die by the sword.
At least he's proud.
Taste of knowledge.
And we just got a research desk having done the thirst for power,
Yet another accomplishment.
which allows you to unlock blueprints. And it wants me to construct a research desk, but as I said, I did plan on clearing all of the level 20 bosses first. So we unlocked a blood spell point. I'm going to have you guys decide how I'm going to spend that. A woodworking bench, simple furniture, and a crossbow. And we're going to be tracking Keely next. Keely is nearby northeast, so she's pretty close by. That's good. And as far as the spell points go, there's no choices here. There's just Blood Rage. Heals nearby allies for 65% of your spell power and applies a fading haste because I already have Shadow Bolt and Blood Right. Alright, let's go find Keely. She is close to the north. Keely the Frost Archer. So here's some shady dealers, which you can trade for. So unlocking additional blueprints costs me copper, which I don't have a lot of copper at the moment, but that's another good way to get blueprints. You can get blueprints off of drops. So some items drop when you kill specific enemies, right? And they're guaranteed to offer you that reward as a result. Whereas other times, you have to unlock the books, and there's different ways to do it, which I'll be talking about as we progress a little bit further. We are almost in daytime, too. So I gotta wrap this fight up quick so that the sun don't kill me.
You shouldn't be here, and soon you won't be.
The ads are kind of blocking me here. Ooh, that wolf's pretty high percent. Not 100% like I am, though. Now, if you back too far away from the boss, you will de-aggro them. But given that I have a bunch of patrols to deal with, I'm going to risk de-aggroing her so that I can clear out the trash mobs that added. Also, in this case, I did unlock some animal crates, cages, which are hostile to the NPCs. So sometimes you can summon in, like, backup, which I did in this case inadvertently. When she goes invisible, she's invisible, but she's still vulnerable. And down she goes. Sakura, thank you for the resub.
feel stronger.
Okay. We're going to have some frost skills to choose from in a second. I just want to get somewhere nice and shady so I can type them up, because there's no pausing. So, frost magic. What should I unlock? So we've got frost bats. Launches a projectile that explode upon impact, inflicting chill, and hitting a chilled enemy freezes it. We've got Ice Nova. Conjuring Nova of Ice on a target location, dealing damage, and it radiates out and inflicts chill, and then chilled enemies freeze. And then Cold Snap. Cold Snap is a block that triggers freeze. And have you choose between those three. And I don't really care what you pick. We don't need to pick what you like. There's no pressure to pick the strongest anything. I, again, really don't care. So don't feel like you need to be compelled to vote for one thing over the other. It makes no difference to me. Alright, I'm going to travel through this little bandit camp here. And then we'll get the research desk built. The sun is our mortal enemy. Okay, here's a waygate. That'll bring us home quicker. I settled a castle location kind of close to a waygate, which does make traveling home a little bit easier for now. As I mentioned, you eventually get the ability to build waygates within your own base, so it becomes not a benefit later on. Well, here's our lovely home. I think I ran out of bone in the Mist Brazier, so I'm going to stick... No, it's just inactive. Okay, so I'm going to turn it back on. And here's the rewards we got. So we got a tannery, which allows us to refine animal hides into leather. And the ability to make leather, a traveler's wrap, and an empty water skin. So if we take a look at the simple workbench, you can see the traveler's wrap here. For 4 cloth, 4 leather, we can make something that gives us a little bit of health, and more importantly, some sun resistance rating. I'm going to say you guys want Ice Nova, so let's pick that up. Alright, and the tutorial wants us to craft a research bench. And I'm not going to go and push past doing any more of this crafting until the tutorial kind of lightens up. So here in the research tree, we would need 12 paper and 8 planks. I'm sure I have the paper squirreled away here. Yep, there we go. Here is our lovely research bench. Or desk. And this allows you to unlock blueprints. So I will show you... let's claim this.
Recognize my power.
Actually, I don't think I have any blueprints yet. So never mind. I'm just going to show you how to use it. But yeah, there's a bunch of different items to be unlocked. And this is only the first tier research desk. There are higher tiers as you get better. And you can also use 50 paper to unlock a random one, rather than something specific. So now it wants me to upgrade my castle heart to level 2, which that means I would need to be able to make, if we take a look here, copper and leather. So, upgrade castle heart to level 2 is our goal. So in terms of refining, a forge gives us the copper ingots, and the tannery gives us leather. So, Here's the tannery. I'm going to stick some animal hides in there. Not all of them, because sometimes you need the lower quality item to produce things. And then the other one we wanted was the furnace, so I need about 500 stone for that. And I'm not laying my base out right now, more or less on purpose, because we don't have the required research to be able to actually build anything worth building. And Alex, thank you for the resub, and you're welcome for the content. So now we've got the tannery making leather and the furnace making iron. So it's only a matter of time until we have all the resources for the castle heart. And unlocking the castle heart allows us to build the castle foundations and walls to actually have a castle. Because the palisade stuff that we have now doesn't make a castle. It's kind of just like random defensive walls. It's not actually castle structure. So that's why I haven't been bothering with that. Another thing that I want to do ahead of time, because I know from playing before that your castle walls require a lot of processed stone, is we're also going to want to make a grinder. A grinder will turn raw stone into like bricks, which is the primary. So the primary building material of your castle early on is going to be planks and bricks. Planks, which is processed wood, and bricks, which is processed stone. So we are up to 12 ingots, but we already have all the leather we need. Or 7 of the 12 ingots, I should say. And then, needless to say, once we have the castle heart, a little bit higher upgrade, it might make sense to make ourselves copper tools. Because copper is going to allow us to do resource gathering way better than using bone items. Bone weapons are starter weapons to be ditched really early on when possible. So while I wait for the smithy to process materials, I'm just going to be clearing out some space around our castle heart so that we have room to grow into. Oh, that's not cool. Nothing like a skull level treant going, ha ha! You think you own these woods? No, I know I don't. Now, if only... Oh yeah, here we go. Bye! No, Treant, don't follow me. I think he killed the wolves so quickly, the wolves, like, despawned. Oh, wait. Okay, so here's the castle heart.
The castle heart grows even greater. An achievement, to be sure.
Complete a castle room by laying down floors and constructing stone walls around it to generate a roof. And this, of course, will then subsequently protect me from the sun when we have a full structure. So I'm going to make sure to be... The thing I need to do right now is to build a grinder, but a grinder requires whetstone. So get whetstones for for 2 grinders. Forget 1, I want 2. So let's go ahead and put all our stuff away. Messily, these aren't the proper containers. yet. And then if we mouse over the map here, we can start to see where whetstones commonly drop. Like this band encampment has whetstones. And that would be a good place to farm them. So let's go ahead and do that. So I need 8 whetstones. We open up the V-Blood menu. Without my copper tools, I'm definitely not strong enough to take on any new enemies. Whoa, a 95% deer. I'm gonna stick with my 100% warrior blood, but still. Unusual to see a deer. Like, any enemy can spawn in any blood quality type. Nope. And there's one of the 8 whetstone already. Oh, wow, a 97% rogue? Dang. I'm using up all my blood luck now. I don't like that. And the places to find whetstones are not only on the people, but the boxes will have them frequently too. So smash everything that is smashable. And we are about halfway through the day. And we're up to 2 of the 8 whetstone. I'm really bad at not hitting their barrier shields. It's just so shiny. But with the leech magic that I'm using, I'm healing myself decent enough. Oh, we got a book to unlock in the research desk once we're back home. Got some plant seeds. But we're just about out of things to kill here. So let's take a look. Anywhere else that has... close the legend. We might need to head west. The bandit stronghold's locked, if you're wondering, so I'm not going to be able to get any access to that. That comes later on. Worst case scenario, I could do with one grinder if I don't want to hold out for 2. Well, let's head west and see about finding another whetstone farming zone. And Bass, thank you for the resub. Back for a second month, I appreciate it. Now, there's a game mechanic that is coming pretty soon within this, which is the servants. So one thing that you can do in this game, getting ahead of myself a little bit, but the zones that you see on the map, these yellow zones, a lot of them can be farmed by NPCs that you dominate and convert. So for now, all of the resource gathering is left up to me, but later on you'll have the ability to send your lackeys out to do resource farming, which is, depending on your server settings, often a much more hassle-free way to get an abundance of specific resource. And the game mechanic behind servant farming is pretty nice. So I'm going to head to the west and look for whetstone zones so we can get our first grinder. I could also just pull up my bootstraps and just farm a bunch of NPCs for a while, but here we are. Bandit Armory. This is another whetstone zone. Some of these enemies are slightly higher than I'm used to killing, though. Like this Deadeye. I'm going to change my ability. Oh, yep, she dropped a whetstone. Perfect. Change my ability around. Or something that counters better. We are up to just, still 3. It might be worth, now that it's daytime, consuming my Minor Sun Resistance Brew. So this thing lasts through death and gives me a little bit of sun resistance for an hour, so that I can stand in the sun a little bit longer, which can be instrumental in surviving these types of areas. There's another whetstone. Whoa, that was a bit of a trap. And I'm dead. So this is a good, I got netted, couldn't move, and... So, when you die... Killed by sun, yeah. Certain damage over time, like fire, won't kill you, but then it will bring you down to, like, 1 hit point where the anything next can kill you. One advantage to dying where I died is I died pretty close to a vampire waygate. So, having died next to a vampire waygate, I'm discovering a new waygate. And then you just travel back to where you died. And pick your stuff back up. It also depends on server settings, but generally speaking, your gear takes like a 15% damage hit as a result of dying, but you keep the things on your hotbar. So the weapons are like bloodbound to me. So if you mouse over them, they'll say bloodbound. Bloodbound things, for my server settings at least, won't drop. So the stuff that was in my inventory is gone to be picked back up. But my bloodbound items, which is like my equipment and weapons, persist with me. It's also worth noting, I'm relatively low on my warrior blood, so as much as I'd like to keep the 100% blood coursing through me, I'm down to 3 out of the 10 liters, so I should be in the market for a new donor. And when you die, the NPCs, where you died, don't necessarily respawn, so as you can see, there's like still injured, and I can pick up more or less where I left off. There's certainly a lot of them trying to kill me right now. Ugh. What timing. Alright, so here's all the stuff I had. No problem. So we're up to 6 whetstones, so I'm gonna actually just push to the 8 that I wanted originally, because we're close enough to getting 8. That it's not a big ask anymore. And there is a Deadeye Rogue over there with a 50% or 49% blood, which might be worth switching to now that I'm nearly out of warrior blood. That was whetstone number 7 of 8. Oh, well, one of them had a 59%, but I just collateraled him. So we're not going to be able to suck him dry. One more whetstone. So in this case, these bandits have villagers captured, which have worker type blood. Not all blood is combat based. So for instance, my rogue blood gives me crit strike and movement speed, which is nice. Worker blood we'll get into once I start to have servant coffins and the like. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. There we go. There's our whetstone. Oh, and yet another one. And if you're wondering, you do eventually get the ability to make most items, also including whetstones. So if the grind for whetstones felt long, it becomes far less of an issue later on. And you can just manufacture them no problem. I love finding battlegrounds for cleared by the NPCs.
space in my inventory.
Ooh, a carriage. A little bit too hard for me now. Thank you for tuning in to V Rising, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow vampires.